At the Healthcare District of Palm Beach County's Community Health Centers,
we care about your overall health.
Dental health.
Women's health.
Mental health.
Preventive health.
We care about your care.
With 10 Palm Beach County locations, our team provides the healthcare and pharmacy services you and your family need, regardless of your ability to pay, with or without insurance. Call 561-642-1000 and let us care for you.
Judge James Daniels sentenced 27-year-old Bianella Susana to 10 years probation for her guilty plea to aggravated manslaughter.
It was a very serious crime that she was charged with, and involving the death of a child. But the evidence obviously was very, very persuasive. In fact, I ended up giving a suspended sentence. It was a 10-year suspended sentence, and she was placed on probation with the program that was put forward by the Policy Center through their attorneys. And I was able to really see that there was more to it than just the tragic death of the child.
The gift of the Policy Center, and I think what our secret sauce is, that we've spent so much time understanding the mental health needs of our girls. We've spent so much time understanding why their mental health has resulted in them ending up in the justice system, that we can go into a courtroom and argue why they need to be responded to in the community versus locked up.
The Policy Center is really the main force that has driven the training for law enforcement in dealing with girls' issues. So therefore, we are leaps and bounds ahead of where we were 10 years ago.
My client was a survivor of trafficking. At the time, I didn't know that. I was working with her and she was working with the Policy Center, and she was in a really bad situation in her life. We were in a sentencing hearing where my client was facing life in prison, and luckily she walked out of court that day. That case, gosh, I'm gonna get emotional, I'm sorry. That case really shaped the course of my whole career because I still represent that girl.
So we've reduced the number of girls being incarcerated by 73% in Duval County. We have been able to build programs in elementary schools that inform us of what our girls need so that we can continue to change policies and practices.
One of the things the Policy Center researchers discovered is this, that loss, emotional loss, sits at the center of these girls' experience. Imagine being 8 years old or younger, or 10 or 12, and the emotional experience that defines your life is the sense of loss.
I was facing a lot of challenges, just overall at home and at school, and that built up, and I let it go in a way I was not supposed to, and it got me into trouble.
It had a lot to do with her at-home life too, that got led up to that happening. I was in a very abusive relationship. I had gotten bad on drugs. She had to go live with her dad. It was just very, very tough, her at-home life. I don't know where we would be without the Policy Center. They were godsend, they really were, because I don't know where she would have ended up if this program didn't come into light.
I've learned that who I was back then, it does not define who I am now. That I'm stronger than what I was, and I know that the future holds a lot for me.
I think their ability to blend effective mental health practices as well as an effective paradigm of trauma-informed care has been particularly powerful in the way that they're individually serving and supporting girls.
My comment, sorry, because I'm so passionate about this work, is that you're recognizing the girls that we have the privilege to serve. When you recognize the Policy Center, you're recognizing that girls deserve to be seen. You're recognizing that the girls we serve matter. And so for me, that means the world, because that's what we believe, is that we need to see the girl.
City Council President Terrence Freeman, leading for us. A husband, father of 5, and business leader, Terrence has fought to put every Jacksonville family first. As council president, he's cut taxes, balanced the budget, and increased funding for our parks and green spaces. Freeman prioritized public safety by partnering with first responders, increasing local patrols, and expanding after-school programs. Let's keep Terrence fighting for us. Vote to re-elect Terrence Freeman on March 21st.
The screamings, the crying, you just go numb to it.
You see bodies in positions that they're not supposed to be in.
For years, there has been a kind of a tough it up, buttercup approach. If you were going to experience emotions, you did those privately, and then you straightened up and went back to work.
I had a fire chief come up to me and say, "Hey, you're not broken. Get over it. Come on, pull it together."
You tucked away those emotions and those feelings and stuff, and you didn't let them loose.
Our first responders see everything, every single day. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
There's some pretty detrimental effects when we go through a career's worth of these experiences and don't do something with them.
And a lot of that, unfortunately, turns to arguments or disagreements that ultimately end in divorce or family separations or worse.
My department has experienced a couple suicides in the past year.
Our first responders will be able to call 211, and that 211 dispatcher will identify whether or not this is a first responder, and if so, the first responder and or family member is connected to a first responder peer specialist. That is somebody with lived experience that has walked a mile in a first responder's shoes.
I've done your job. I know the burden you carry. I know the stigma of the job. So actually doing the job and just knowing what somebody could go through or have been through makes a huge difference.
Not every department that first responders work at have mental health counseling. And so we wanted to ensure that our first responders and their family members are able to access this program, which is free and confidential.
A lot of what can keep people from reaching out for help, especially when they need it, is the fear of what other people are going to think, what their coworkers are going to think.
So having that degree of separation is huge. I mean, they can call somebody, share some stuff, maybe find out, all right, these thoughts aren't abnormal.
That peer specialist is going to stay with that first responder and their family members until those resources are in place and until that first responder feels that they are on the road to recovery and they have received the help that they need.
A lot of people don't understand our jobs, but we're not so extraordinary that we're not human. And every once in a while, we need to take that break and do self-maintenance and self-care.
So the way I like to think about it is we take care of our hardware, right? But we don't put a lot of focus on our software, right up here. And that keeps the whole thing running.
And I've seen a lot of people struggle after retirement, still fighting the same demons that they had on the job, which could have been addressed properly in the beginning.
Having something like this and maintaining our mental health will allow us a longer career.
You've saved other people, let us save you at this time.
Just pick up the phone. It only takes a couple of seconds to dial 3 numbers, and there's help there.
CSX is relying on collaboration and innovation to become the safest, most efficient railroad in the industry. we've harnessed the most innovative tools and technology available to launch a new train inspection portal project to now include a third site near CSX's busiest yard in Waycross, Georgia, exemplifying our commitment to continually advancing technology to support our network and our customers. Here's how a machine vision system is optimizing train safety and efficiency.
In 2019, we used the train inspection portal and did our first installation, which is an overall camera system. Instead of just looking at one camera on one thing, we're looking at using 20 cameras to look at multiple items of the train as it passes in real time.
Traditional inspections occur in the yard as the cars sit statically. The Train Inspection Portal, or TIP, is dynamic. A multitude of high-speed cameras capture images that show us how critical components between rail cars are performing. CSX's newest TIP in Walterville, Georgia, currently inspects about 20 trains a day.
So we can image the train as it comes through, as it's performing on line of road. Simple things like the air hoses that connect between the rail cars. We can look at the shape of those two air hoses between the cars and see whether you're going to cause a problem further down the road.
So what the TIP site allows us to do is reduce line of road failures. Line of road failures are impactful not only for the train and the customer's cars that are on that train, but any other train that may occupy that line as well. It identifies these issues, prevents train stops, provides a safer and more reliable product to keep our railroad fluid, reduce dwell, increase velocity.
The end of each car has a specific arrangement with specific fasteners and hose lengths. So we're able to look at the angularity of that bracket, and then we can figure out, are there components that are failing on the inside that we can't really see?
And the impact that it has here has already been felt. It gives us the ability to go in and see those problems sometimes before they occur.
And we're constantly discovering new ways to use the technology since there are so many moving parts associated with freight cars that are hard to manually inspect. A perfect example is a cotter key. Now it's easy to see if one is missing compared to one in its proper position, a crucial component of train braking mechanisms and overall safety.
So we're using the machine vision cameras that are looking underneath, looking straight up to find those cotter keys to make sure they're all in place. Because there's many of them across the car and across the braking system, and they're all important to make the brake system work.
The pixel-wide images from the line scan cameras are stitched together, and the images are integrated for downstream processing.
A line scan takes pictures, 1 pixel wide, like a thread, 10,000 times per second. So all those threads get meshed together to make fabric. So this is taking pictures from the center of track, looking up, imaging very fast as the train passes at track speed, which could be 40 to 50 miles an hour, and images the entire underside of that train.
Major advantage of a TIP site is to catch those items before they impact our communities.
It's exciting to see the emphasis that we're putting on the technology. We're doing some serious investment.
CSX will continue to explore innovative approaches that advance our mission of service.
In the end, it's all about improving the reliability and consistency for our shippers and receivers.
Together, we are moving America forward.
Since 2009, Wounded Warrior Project has conducted the annual Warrior Survey to uncover the most pressing needs of the warriors we serve and act upon them. The data informs all Wounded Warrior Project programs, services, and initiatives. It also guides our advocacy efforts, influencing legislation that impacts veterans and their families. The 2022 Annual Warrior Survey findings represent over 165,000 warriors who are registered with Wounded Warrior Project. These are some of their stories.
The symptoms of PTSD are, in a roundabout way, broad. And yes, I did feel like I was drowning every single day going out. Now the drowning went into quicksand and I couldn't get out. When I realized I need help was the day I almost took my own life.
Mental health issues continue to be leading challenges for warriors. 76% reported PTSD, 76% reported anxiety, and 74% reported depression. And over 1 in 4 have had suicidal thoughts in the past 12 months. Of those warriors, 72% reported having them in the past 2 weeks.
I had to first say, hey, my name is Christopher J. Hoff and I need help. That's the hardest sentence I ever had to say in my life. But once I said it, the doors opened for me and I'm here.
I did get medically evacuated out of Iraq to get some surgeries and stuff done to correct some of those injuries. Coming back after getting out of the military and dealing with pain on a daily basis isn't ideal. It is sometimes debilitating. It kind of puts you in a mood sometimes where like, I don't feel like getting up in the morning. I don't feel like getting out of bed.
76% reported moderate or severe pain, and 50% who reported pain say they're only a little or not at all effective in managing it. Pain, mental health challenges, and many other factors can contribute to poor sleep. 80% of warriors reported sleep issues, making it the #1 health issue reported by warriors. The survey found that sleep quality is the greatest predictor of good quality of life among warriors, highlighting the importance of this issue.
Way back, I developed a model for myself, for my life, was that I don't adapt to life, I make life adapt to me. Meaning that no matter how I feel, I want to get up and focus on more positive than negative.
Trying to get a job back in the civilian community away from the military base, I think I was very unprepared for the issues that I faced. If my employers 20 years ago would have been more receptive to understanding how to work with veterans, then maybe my children wouldn't have had that experience. Then I wouldn't have been poor living in Section 8 housing after I served my country with my 2 children.
Although the warrior unemployment rate has fallen since 2021, it is still higher than other populations. Financial strain has risen since 2021, with 64% of warriors reporting that they did not have enough money to make ends meet in the past 12 months. Increased cost of goods was the top source of financial strain reported.
I think veterans bring this sense of duty to what they're doing, no matter where they're working, no matter what they're doing. We're an asset to the nation when we serve, so we're an asset to companies when we serve.
I was in the U.S. Army from 1999 until 2014. Coming home, everybody expected me to be the same person, and I just wasn't. Sometimes we tend to isolate because we don't have to, pretend to be something that we're just not wanting to be at that present moment.
Many warriors struggle to find connection and camaraderie again after service. 78% reported that they feel isolated, and 66% reported being lonely. The survey found that social support is associated with lower rates of suicidal ideation, highlighting the importance of peer connection.
I think it's important to connect with other warriors because it helps bring down some of the anxiety and depression, because you're around individuals who, although they may not have the same experiences and jobs as you had in the military, they understand. They can relate.
These statistics are more than just numbers. They represent the hardships faced by wounded warriors every day. We share their stories to ensure their voice never falls silent, and to urge those who can make a difference to do what's right. Download the full report at annualwarriorsurvey.com.